Quick but urgent disclaimer, this video is not for children. It contains inappropriate content such as swearing and other things. You have been warned. Wow, I can't believe it's been 5 years since Animal Crossing New Horizons launched. I can't wait to take a look at my island for the first time in like 4 years and see how it's been flourished. Oh god. What the fuck am I wearing? 4 years and 7 months? There's no way it's been that long. Okay, no, seriously, there's no way it's been that long. I think time traveling must have fucked it up somehow. No, not the weeds. Oh no. It's a bug, ew! Animal Crossing New Horizons launched at what was probably the perfect time for a video game of its caliber to launch. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Let's flash back to what was somehow 5 years ago, March 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic started. Everyone was slowly realizing that they were going to be indefinitely stuck inside, and were already starting to go insane trying to find something to stare at that wasn't their walls. So when this game, a game about spending time on a beautiful island, socializing with neighbors, and even friends online, launched during that same month, holy fuck! On day one, this game had already sold nearly 2 million copies in Japan, becoming the biggest debut Switch game. If you're a filthy American like me, this was our best-selling game in March 2020, which is huge because it beat Doom Eternal, a game with guns in it. This game doubled, tripled, quadrupled the lifetime sales of previous entries in the franchise, mere months after it had launched. By the time March ended, nearly 12 million copies were sold. When June rolled around, 22 million. In August, it became Japan's second highest selling game ever, only behind Pokemon Red and Blue. 2 years later, it became their best-selling game ever. I could go on and on about the records this game broke in terms of sales, but for the sake of moving on to the rest of the video, let me just say that this game is currently the second best-selling Switch game of all time worldwide, and has sold more copies than every Animal Crossing game combined. Holy fuck. For myself and many others, this game was the perfect way to escape, what was going on at the time in 2020. But today, 5 years later, does it still hold up? Let's find out. Super quickly before I get into the video though, two things. One, this is not the first 5 years later video I've done. I've also done videos like this about Mario Odyssey, Smash Ultimate, and Mario Maker 2. And two, please consider liking, sharing, and especially subscribing. It really helps me out and I'm hoping to hit 1K subs by the end of the year. But without any further ado, this is Animal Crossing New Horizons, 5 years. Here's how this video will work. I'll start out by talking about the gameplay, then the visuals, then the music, then certain pros and cons, before finally delivering a definitive review score and determining whether or not New Horizons has aged well after 5 years. Let's talk about the gameplay. This is the gameplay. New Horizons isn't like your GTAs and Call of Duties and Doom Eternals, even though it, launched on the same day as Doom Eternal. The Animal Crossing series takes pride in its simple and relaxing gameplay, and that's honestly impressive in its own right. Anyone can pick up this game and figure it out. The premise is simple. You move to a deserted island and devastate all of the natural resources to create your own capitalistic paradise. And the gameplay is, well, pretty much that. The game is set in real time, meaning that it operates based on the real-life day and night cycle of your time zone, and you spend your time building your house and island from the ground up and unlocking new features as you go, gathering and selling and buying stuff, talking to villagers, paying off the crippling debts imposed on you by the evil Tom Nook, donating to the museum, and decorating and collecting stuff. It's easier to notice good gameplay in a game like Astral Chain, where whether it's playable or not depends on if you're able to do shit like this. But here, everything's a lot more subtle. When you think about it, you start to realize, damn, walking in this game feels fluid, running in this game feels fluid, fishing in this game feels fluid, and so does swimming and digging and catching bugs. You get the idea. You really start to appreciate the simplicity. The main appeal of Animal Crossing's gameplay is that you can, well, pretty much play the game however you want. The normal cycle of the game is super satisfying, rewarding, and easy to get sucked into. Like, there's a reason I pretty much played this game for 5 months straight and it's my most played Switch game. But if that's not your style, you can take loads of different approaches to playing, like choosing to dedicate your time to physically and psychologically torturing your island residents, or abusing the system clock to unnaturally reap rewards. Sure, the latter option may technically be cheating, but no one's put a stop to it, so. But all of this was available in previous entries in the series, so what's new this time around? Well, first and foremost, you're on an island. All of the other mainline games prior to this one, such as New Leaf, the one I played when I had my 3DS, took place in towns or cities, and while that was certainly fun, The island aspect takes a really cool new approach to the formula. It allows for more freedom when it comes to customizing the area outside of your house, letting you decorate pretty much every square inch. And the best part, your neighbors have no say in the matter. The other new features are crafting, pathing, terraforming, nook miles, and autosaving. Crafting allows you to, well, craft your own furniture from materials you find on the island. Pathing and terraforming allow you to create paths and add/remove ground, cliffs, and more in seconds like you're fucking god. Nook miles are a cool alternative form of currency that you can use to buy things you wouldn't normally purchase with bells, and autosaving is, well, the game automatically saves. These new features are all nice, especially pathing and terraforming, because they're easily some of the best ways to make your island suit your vision. Sure, crafting and the Nook Mile system can sort of feel obsolete after you get far into the game, but they're still helpful and welcome additions. Animal Crossing has always been good at making you feel like you're starting from very little and making something big, but thanks to the new features in this game, that sense of accomplishment feels even more rewarding. You start on an untouched island with you and the other residents in tents, and if you're dedicated enough, you can transform it into a great place to live. Now, let's get into one of the scariest topics to talk about in a Switch game, the online play. The online functionality in Animal Crossing New Horizons is actually pretty solid. That's right everyone, the same company that put out Smash Ultimate and Mario Maker 2 actually made a functioning online mode in a game. Sure, maybe it's because this game involves a lot less punching and final smashes and okay, I don't know what Mario Maker 2's excuse is, but the online play in this game works. I've stated in previous videos that I don't really play games online anymore, but this game was one I played online a lot. I got super into the turnip market in this game, and me and my friends used to go to each other's islands to sell turnips, definitely without cheating, as well as just to fuck around and explore. And for the most part, it worked really well. I'm sure there was the occasional lagging and crashing, but every game has that every once in a while, and unlike Smash and Mario Maker, there are no specific instances I can remember where these issues royally fucked me over. However, the wait times in the online mode of this game are fucking insufferable. Every single time you play online, you gotta go to Dodo Airlines, then you gotta tell Orville you wanna fly somewhere, then you gotta tell them you wanna visit an island, then you gotta tell them you wanna visit one online, then you gotta select who you're visiting from your friend list or input a code, and then finally you're off. You're off. You're off. I said you're off! If you couldn't already tell, going to someone else's island in this game is a massive pain in the ass that's both overly long and overly complicated. Sure, everything's fun once you get there, but the getting there is about as fun as lighting a firecracker in your own asshole. Here's a pro tip for anyone making a game with online functionality. When players reflect on your online mode a handful of years later, you don't want one of the things they remember the most to be the fucking loading screen. I'll stop complaining so we can move on to the art/graphics section, but first, I want to tell you guys about one of my most memorable experiences, not just related to the online play, not just related to this game, but just gaming as a whole. The experience I'm talking about is when I met one of my favorite YouTubers in this game. Okay, I've been meaning to talk about this for years, and if you don't care about it, you can skip to the timestamp displayed on screen. Let's flash back to April 28th, 2020. Everyone was in lockdown, and I was at home playing Animal Crossing and watching a Nintendo Life livestream on YouTube instead of paying attention to my 7th grade Zoom class. If you don't know Nintendo Life, they're a pretty popular channel. They have nearly 800k subs, which is slightly more than I have. Subscribe. They're a joint YouTube channel consisting of 3 guys, Alex, Xeon, and Felix, who make all sorts of Nintendo content. I've been a fan of them since middle school, so when I found out that Alex, my favorite of the 3, don't tell them, would be visiting fans of Animal Crossing Islands on stream, I figured, hey, why not, and put my Dodo code in the chat. So I was minding my own business when all of a sudden I hear Alex announce my island name. I don't know how to put the feeling of hearing that one of my favorite YouTubers was going to be visiting my Animal Crossing island into words. It was a weird mixture of anxiety, excitement, and holy fuck, I'm supposed to be doing algebra right now. I wasn't even thinking I'd be picked when I put my code in there. Sure, you could argue that there weren't a bajillion people participating in the stream, so it's not that special, but I was about to, in a way, meet one of my favorite content creators. His visit to my island was kind of a mess, actually. I was still super early into the game, I hadn't unlocked terraforming yet, and I was a stupid 13-year-old kid who had a dumb Danganronpa custom shirt and spent approximately 74.2% of the time awkwardly moving my character around and failing to type in the in-game message feature. And also, this fucking asshole somehow made his way onto my island as well, hijacking my shit to meet Alex. But I still have fond memories of it, mainly because of how incredibly nice and patient Alex was. Like I said, I was a total nervous buffoon showing him around my island, but he was one of the most supportive people ever, and it made the experience a good one. You can check out the video for yourself, I'll link it above and in the description. I appear at the 59 minutes and 20 seconds mark, although I should mention two things. One, if you have the time, please also watch the other parts of the stream, because pretty much every other island he visits is much cooler than mine. And two, he refers to me as Ryan, my actual name, and RP Gamer, my username at the time, which was supposed to be pronounced like RPG Gamer, but, well, no one pronounced it like that. There's a reason why I switched to Bizaster. Also, I'll probably rewatch my segment for the channel at some point because I'd love to reminisce about other details I glossed over here. But for now, let's move on to the visual. Ever since the first game debuted on the GameCube in 1956, the Animal Crossing series has prided itself on having some of the cutest visuals in gaming. Interestingly enough, the dev team originally considered going for a darker, grittier style with this entry, much like its launch day companion Doom Eternal. Did you know that? Yeah, me neither until I read this fucking video script I wrote. For more than 20 years now, Animal Crossing has had some of the cutest visuals in gaming, and New Horizons is no different. The characters are adorable, the environments look great, as does, well, pretty much everything. My first experience with this series was with New Leaf on the 3DS, so I can't claim to have witnessed the graphical evolution from the GameCube all the way to the Switch firsthand, but I can say for sure that it's clearly come a long way since that point. This is exactly how an Animal Crossing game on Switch should look. I don't know much about FPS and all that shit, but what I do know is that the island looks bright, bustling, and cheery during the day, calmer, softer, and more serene in the evening, and my god, sitting on the edge of the island and looking at the moon and the water at night, let me tell you, that shit was immersive in 2020 when all I was seeing was the walls of my house. Even now, post-lockdown, it's beautiful and brings a tear to my eye. I can't wait to see where this franchise goes in the future. And while we're talking about visuals, I guess I could talk about the visuals I see in my game specifically. That's right, baby, it's island tour time! Let's start out with my house, where we got my living room, which is where I live. We got two flamingos having tea, we got the radio playing Welcome Horizons by KK Slider, we got the entire KK Slider record collection, I think. And then, over here, you'll notice we've got the katanas and the feudal Japanese stop drifting tower, then the bookshelf and couch combo, and the Switch and TV combo, and of course a live turtle. Next, we got my room. This is where I record my Animal Crossing tube videos. We got the cat bed for the cat I don't have, we got the mug on the motherfucking floor, we got the lamp, desk, computer, chair combo, and stop drifting, and then we've got a hamper and a hamster and an electric guitar, and a radio that's playing KK Island and my plans to blow up every Cybertruck on the motherfucking floor, and we've got my Bizaster and oh, don't mind him, this is Darnell, he watches me sleep. We got my bathroom where I motherfucking shit, you don't need to see this, except Happy Home Academy did call it an S tier location to shit, so keep that in mind. Then we got my kitchen, and then upstairs we got the gym, baby. We're playing Surfin' KK by the Dead KK Entities on the radio in here, and then downstairs we got the set of the hit 1995 film Casino, Don't Tell Robert De Niro. Outside time, bitch, we got my yard, there's all sorts of shit in here, but more importantly, we got the outdoor live, stop drifting, concert setup, music 25 hours a day, doesn't even matter if KK Slider's here or not. We got the multi-fruit orchard that also has weeds now. We got the flower field right in front of the lighthouse and right behind the waterfall, which is right next to some weeds. We got this serene bamboo forest. We got the theme park run by, you guessed it, another live turtle. Then we got the themeless park and we got the pool. And of course, who could forget about my neighborhood of lovely villagers? We've got Biff, my favorite, Plucky, Elmer, Nan, Freckles, Phil, Jay, Bree, Cookie, and Frida. Alright, that's it for the tour. Get the fuck off my island. Everyone loves Animal Crossing music except for people who suck. The music in this series always manages to be both catchy and relaxing, and that mark is very much hit in New Horizons. Don't believe me? Listen to the 12 AM theme. God, that song is just so nice. There aren't just themes for every hour in New Horizons, there are also remix themes for when it snows or when it rains, etc. Like the gameplay, the music is something that the game truly lets you appreciate in moments where you aren't doing as much. Oh, and the sound effects are great too. That little wee-woo when you catch a bug or whatever, I'm telling you. That's it for the formulaic categories, but there are still some more things that I want to cover, both good and bad, before I get into delivering my final rating for the game and determining whether or not it's aged well after 5 years. But first, the good stuff. One of the biggest pros from this game is the much better character customization. One of the issues I had with New Leaf was that, aside from answering some stupid questions on a train, there was virtually no way to customize your character, meaning you were usually stuck with a character who looked nothing like you. But here, you can choose your skin color, sex, hair color, eye color, and so much more. And that's not even mentioning the massive variety of outfits you can buy, and the massive amount of custom designs you can make. Everyone here can create a character that represents who they are, and that's incredible. Another pro is that this game features a multitude of returning characters who are series staples, from Tom Nook to the Nook brothers to Isabelle to the Able sisters to KK Slider and so on. Whether you're seeing them again or meeting them for the first time, you're bound to like them. A lot of people have complained that the game didn't have as many updates as it could have had, but I went back into the game 4 years later and found out that they added my goat Cap'n since I last played it. Come on man, this game doesn't need any more improvements, this is it. Now, for my most controversial opinion about this series, I am not attracted to Isabelle. Now for my second most controversial opinion about this series, I do not like the consequences that come from the real-time gimmick. Yeah, that's right, we're moving into the cons now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, if you don't play the game for a while, there are consequences when you come back to it, such as the island being overrun with weeds, as you saw earlier, or villagers moving out. One thing I'll say in this game's favor is that, compared to previous entries, the consequences aren't super fucked. Villagers don't automatically move out in this entry, and the weed problem wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. But I still don't like that it's an aspect of the game. A lot of people enjoy this aspect as they feel like it motivates the player to keep playing. But honestly, with both this game and New Leaf, once I got out of my initial play everyday grind, the prospect of having to fix a bunch of shit upon returning made me not want to come back. I feel like there should at least be an option to not have the game punish you for not playing. Let's move on to some issues that I think more people will agree with me on, starting with the fact that the villager dialogue in this game is a lot more repetitive than it was in New Leaf. I'm not saying that the dialogue here is bad by any means, as I still very much enjoyed it, but New Leaf made it feel like villagers had something new to say almost every day, while this game seems to recycle a fair amount of lines. It kind of breaks the immersion a little. And finally, the biggest flaw with this game, you can only have one island per console. Unlike the villager dialogue and real-time gimmicks, there is literally no upside to this. My brother and I both played this game, and we share a Switch, so instead of having his own island to customize and his own choices to make, we had to consult each other before we made changes to the island and the stuff related to it. This aspect was stupid, but more understandable in games like New Leaf. The 3DS didn't have profiles or anything, so once you made a town, that was it. But guess what the Switch has? Profiles! Nintendo literally had the option to let you create different islands on different profiles, and they didn't do it. Why? I feel like it was done as a ploy to get more people to buy more than one Switch, and it feels really fucking scummy. And by the way, it's not just siblings that are impacted either. What about people who want to have different islands for different playthroughs? It's such a stupid limitation. That's pretty much it for the pros and cons. I guess I could also talk about how tools break now, but I don't really have as much of a personal stake in that issue as other people seem to, so instead, let's move on to assigning a review score to Animal Crossing New Horizons and determining whether or not it's aged well after 5 years. There's a reason why this game was so beloved and successful when it first came out. Not only was it a completely new installment in a classic Nintendo franchise, it was also the essential game to have during the pandemic. There is so much to do in this game, and I ended up doing a lot. Like I said, it is my most played Switch game. Back when it first came out, I probably would have given this game a 9 out of 10, but today, I'm gonna have to lower this score down to an 8 out of 10. Now that the original magic has worn off a little, the game's flaws are a lot more apparent, but it's still really, really good. Now, has it aged well after 5 years? I mean, yeah, I still had a lot of fun going back to it all this time later, and it honestly still looks and feels great. There's a lot of discourse in the series fanbase about whether this game or New Leaf is better, and while I can't say for sure that one is better, I mean I haven't owned a 3DS for years now, I can say for sure that there's a lot that it does better. And aside from asking you guys to like, share, comment, and especially subscribe once again, there's not much else I can say other than thank you so much for watching this video. Now, Animal Crossing me, play us out. No, wait, no, don't, stop drifting, don't move it, don't, no, stop. You know what? This is fine.